In 1968, a British sailor named Donald Crowhurst set out to conquer the world's first solo, non-stop, round-the-world yacht race. It was a daring dream for a man with big ambitions but little experience. But what began as a quest for glory spiraled into one of the most haunting mysteries in sailing history. Today, we're diving into the strange and tragic story of Donald Crowhurst, a tale of ambition, deception, and a disappearance that still echoes decades later. Buckle up, because this is a wild ride. Donald Crowhurst was a 36-year-old businessman from Devon, England, a dreamer with a knack for electronics and a love for sailing. But by 1968, his business was crumbling, his finances were a mess, and he was desperate for a way out. Enter the Sunday Times Golden Globe race, the first ever solo non-stop circumnavigation of the globe. It promised fame, a £5,000 prize worth a fortune back then, and a chance to prove himself. Crowhurst saw it as his ticket to a new life. He wasn't a seasoned sailor like his competitors, men like Robin Knox-Johnston or Bernard Moitessier, who'd spent years mastering the seas. Crowhurst had mainly sailed a small sloop around England's coast. Still, he jumped in with both feet, entering the race with a trimaran called Teignmouth Electron, a boat he barely had time to prepare. To fund it, he mortgaged his house and took loans, betting everything on success. On October 31st, 1968, the last possible day, he waved goodbye to his wife, Claire, and their 4 kids, and sailed out of Teignmouth harbour into a world of unknowns. Almost immediately, things went wrong. The Teignmouth Electron wasn't ready for the brutal oceans. It leaked, equipment failed, and Crowhurst realized he couldn't keep up with the other racers. He was alone, facing storms and a boat that felt more like a floating gamble than a vessel. But giving up wasn't an option. Failure meant financial ruin and public humiliation. So Crowhurst made a fateful choice. Instead of racing around the world, he started faking his journey. He drifted in the Atlantic, far from the dangerous southern oceans, and sent false radio reports claiming incredible progress. He'd claim he sailed 243 miles in a single day, an almost superhuman feat, when really he was barely moving. To pull it off, he kept 2 logbooks, one with his real location, another with a made-up story of heroic sailing. It was a brilliant but exhausting lie, requiring him to calculate fake routes and even predict weather patterns to sound convincing. For months he played this dangerous game, fooling the press and his family back home, who cheered him on as a hero. But the sea doesn't just test your boat, it tests your mind. Alone for over 200 days, Crowhurst started to crack under the weight of his deception. His logbooks began to show a man slipping away. He wrote strange, rambling passages, thousands of words about God, nature, and cosmic truths. He called his lie the sin of concealment, as if he was punishing himself on paper. His messages to his family grew vague, and his radio reports became erratic. By June 1969, the race was nearing its end. Robin Knox-Johnston had already won, but Crowhurst was still in the running for a top spot thanks to his fake progress. If he returned home, his logbooks would be checked and his lie would collapse. If he stayed at sea, he'd face more isolation. He was trapped in a maze of his own making. His final entries are heartbreaking. On July 1st, 1969, he wrote, "It is finished, it is finished, it is the mercy." The words trail off like he couldn't go on. On July 10, 1969, a ship called the Picardy spotted the Teignmouth Electron drifting in the Atlantic, 700 miles west of the Azores. The boat was a mess, dishes unwashed, sails flapping, no sign of Crowhurst. His logbooks were there, telling the whole story, the fake journey, the mental spiral, the final cry for mercy. His watch was stopped at 11:20, suggesting he'd gone overboard around the time of his last entry. What happened? Most believe Crowhurst took his own life, overwhelmed by guilt and despair. His widow, Claire, held out hope it was an accident. Maybe he fell while fixing the mast. But the evidence points to a man who couldn't face the truth coming out. He'd vanished, leaving behind a mystery that stunned the world. Crowhurst's story didn't end with his disappearance. It shattered his family. Claire raised their kids alone, haunted by questions. The sailing world grappled with what it meant to push people to such extremes. His tale became legend, inspiring books, documentaries, and a movie called The Mercy with Colin Firth. The Teignmouth Electron still sits decaying on a Caribbean beach, a ghost ship from a tragic dream. Why does this story stick with us? Maybe it's because Crowhurst wasn't a villain or a hero, just a man who wanted more than he could carry. His story reminds us how far ambition can take us and how deep it can pull us down. Thanks for joining me on this journey into one of sailing's strangest chapters. If you want more mysteries like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What do you think happened to Donald Crowhurst? Until next time, stay curious.